Hi, it's Paul from Wolf Software Systems Limited, and today is the day we have released WolfStack out to the public, and it's open source, so you can try it out. You can just go straight to our web page. If you go to wolfstack.org, you can actually just run this command on your Linux computer, and it will install WolfStack. So, what is WolfStack? So, effectively, it's along the lines of Proxmox and that sort of idea, where you've got multiple servers, which we have here, in a cluster where you can manage things within the cluster. Now, WolfStack at the moment supports LXC containers and Docker containers as well. So it's really easy to set them up on here. And when it installs, this is born out of really setting up clusters on other platforms and things like having to deal with issues where it's really simple things like setting up the network was always a nightmare. And if you want a local network, you have to hire a virtual switch, and then you have to fiddle around to make that work. So WolfStack is made up of different components, and that means it's much easier to do. When you install WolfStack, it will automatically set up a private network for you, and it doesn't matter if your servers are not on the same subnet or in the same place; they can still work together. So and we've got all these different components. WolfDisk allows file-based disk sharing. So what that basically means is that you can have replicated file stores. You can have clients that just access that file store. WolfScale is for clustering MariaDB databases, and that's a whole other story, which is well worth. And you can see that there's the docs thing, so you can actually go and read all about them because it's quite a lot. So the WolfStack website, as you can see, does actually go through all the components that make it up, because you can actually use the components separately. So if you want to set up a private network, you can use WolfNet without actually, and Wolf Proxy as well, WolfServe. So what we do here, so the main WolfStack thing is the data center. So I've got 3 machines in this cluster, and actually these are here on our local network. And the beautiful thing is I'm using WolfNet. So my laptop, which is actually Wolf, the one that says this on it, is actually set up with a WolfNet, so that when I go home, it'll automatically just reconnect back into this network, so I can actually access this from here. So I've got an LXC container set up, and I'll show you that. And it's actually running, so I can just click the terminal button to get into it. I can do a bit of neo fetch to show you what's going. And it's funny, it actually thinks it's running on a Blade 16, but it's not. And likewise, you can actually see on other servers, you can see LXC and Docker containers that are set up remotely. So I can create Docker containers, I can migrate them across the different servers. I can log into the terminal of this server, for instance. Let's see if I click here, or I can log into the terminal of other servers. So it's a really cool bit of management. So, and you can see it says 10.10.10.1, so it's going over our private secure network. So when you install WolfStack, as I said, it creates a private network, and then you can just connect these servers together over the private network without a vSwitch. Doesn't matter if they're with different providers, we don't really care. And so it allows you to do that. Now, the way we also do it is, so let's say you want to have a load balanced database. So you can basically set up 3 LXC containers, 1 on each machine. I'm not going to do it. Well, I could do it right now, but I'm not going to do it right now because it's faster to just talk about it and explain the theory behind it. And you can try it out yourself anyway. So basically, you set up 3 containers, 1 on each machine, and then you go to components and you grab. So you install MariaDB on there. Okay, you can install This machine actually has a local MariaDB for development, but you can actually install MariaDB directly into the container. So we'll just pull it up here and go, search MariaDB server. This is actually a Fedora machine. Yeah. So I can install that, and then what you can also do is then go. What I would do is that I would then install WolfScale on the top of it. And so we install 3 separate MariaDB servers, install WolfScale on the top of each one. Follow the setup, it's really easy, and then WolfScale will manage the clustering. And WolfScale also does load balancing, so you can then set up another container Or let's say you set up 3 web containers as well, and you can use WolfDisk to share storage so that you can have one storage of web files accessed by 3 LXC containers. Okay, so that's a bit complicated, and then you can load balance into the 3 web servers. So the way we do load balancing on here, again, you don't have to have hundreds of different IP addresses. You basically install Wolf Proxy here and here and here, and then you just point your you can point your outside your DNS to these, and then the Wolf Proxy passes it onto the containers, whichever you choose, Docker or LXC. So creating a container is pretty easy. So if I go to Apache, I don't know if there's an Apache container handy, do a little search, and there's a little bit of different Apache things that I can install. Apache Spark. So let's just do it. I'll tell you what, we'll do something easy. Official build of Nginx, that'll do. Now it says 101, so it's automatically detected that 100 is used. I don't have to do anything else. You just hit the button and you just sit here and wait. Now it's written in Rust, so it's lightning fast. That's actually just pull the Nginx down and I can run it like this. Okay, there it is, it's up. So that's a Docker container and LXC container running on the same server. Pull up the console, systemctl status, Nginx. It hasn't got that in there. Nginx minus T will do. There you go. You can see that Nginx is running on this server. And so that's really how easy it is. And it sets up all the networking for you as well. So what it does is actually it gives you internet access. So you've got full internet access. If I dive into this one, so you don't actually have to set the networking up. You just give it an IP address, which will what it does is when you set up a container, or it does all that horrible networking stuff in the background to give you a local IP address, like not on the public internet, and connect it to the internet so you can run everything. Because some of you will know with certain other platforms, when you create a virtual network, you can end up with a virtual network where things don't talk to each other, and you have to fill in about 400 boxes. And the whole ethos of this whole WolfStack system with the database load balancing, Wolf Proxy, Wolf Serve, and everything like that, is just taking away all that. So you can just install stuff, get up and running, install your own, if you're running on your own machine just to test it, you can just set up Docker. It'll set up Docker and LXC containers for you. You can just create containers. This is Debian 13, for instance. It's all there. I can just pull it in. And so by defaulting as well to a local network, you're not going to expose stuff to the internet unless you actually consciously set up a proxy into it using Wolf Proxy or another proxy server like Nginx. You can use anything you like, really. As I said, it is open source, so you can just head over to wolfstack.org, and there's full details of everything, and also links to the GitHub for each one if you really want to go and have a look at the GitHub. We do have a Patreon, so if you want to make us a little donation, we've got a few different options, like £10 a month, £100 a month, small business, enterprise. Don't have to do any of that, but and that we can also supply when enterprise and corporate. We can also provide support, and also you can join our Discord, which is here somewhere, probably on the bottom. Join our Discord. Not many people are members of it because we're not that famous, but yeah, so it's an interesting project, and we'll be refining it as we go along. Thanks very much. And our website is wolf.uk.com. This is wolfstack.org, so if you want to have a dig around, this all runs on IBM Power, which is risk machines without a problem. And just sort of throw that in, and we do recommend MariaDB databases for this. They are tuned. The whole thing here is running on Rust, so it's a shame to use something that's going to be slower. Okay, we need the fastest of everything, and being on Rust as well, the actual use. So this, I'll just give you an example. This computer right now is using 7% CPU. I'm using quite a lot of memory because I've got some development software open. These three are all actually running on Nobara Linux, not Fedora, which is Fedora basically. And yeah, I'm still running Debian 13 on this container, and then whatever is in this disk this container, which is an Nginx container. So I don't know what that server that's running. I could do a uname, but I don't want to keep you forever. Anyway, have a lovely day, everyone. Wolf.uk.com or wolfstack.org.